So, Luke, you've built this amazing facility, and ModeMen's going to be part of it. Tell us what your vision with this was. Why'd you build it?
Well, Mode Men fits so well into it because mode means to gather with purpose, and men need to gather with purpose, more than a lot of other, groups because we don't do that well. We don't do that well in America. We don't do that naturally as well as just being men. We want to kind of just be tough on the exterior and go about our business every day, wave at guys, other guys, talk about the weather, talk about the game, and that's it. And so, what are the opportunities that guys have to really come together and then be incentivized and intentionally put into situations where they can get deeper relationships?
Yeah. So, when a man comes to ModeMen, then what kind of things will he experience in order to, entice them into coming and gathering?
Well, what we're going to do is just simply have each of our events that could be everything from a camp out with your sons to hanging out and watching March Madness or gathering together and having just conversations about your most embarrassing moment or something deeper about relationships in your life and how we're inspiring the next generation or how we're trying to be a better husband and father. All of it are under the umbrella of Mode Men, but the biggest thing is going to be done with purpose. We're going to have us guiding and directing a lot of these activities to not just have it happen naturally, because a lot of times we aren't naturally that way, and we naturally won't let that happen. And so we're going to be intentional about the outcome and the purpose of what we're going to get out of the night and what the men will get out of the night, and we're going to be very specifically, directing, each of the events to have that end.
Yeah, I'm so excited about this. I think most of us are social chameleons, and so we end up. There's that famous phrase now, right? You are uh, the sum of the five people you're around the most, and so we really want to help create a place where men can come to be around five great men at all times.
Mm-hmm.
You and I are we have a trainer together and we've been working out, and we just happen to be the two luckiest guys in the world that the other man and other men sitting in that or working out in that facility are in the gym are James Sprague and his buddies, the fittest man on earth. And I can tell you, in the past month and a half that we've been working out in that gym, you want to work out harder knowing James Sprague is sitting across
Yep.
the gymnasium from you. And it's fun because he's become our friend and he yells at us and cheers us on. And you work out more, you work out better. And so, how are we going to create that atmosphere for men? How are we going to have help men who want to be in better shape, who want to be better fathers, who want to be better husbands, who want to increase their business and be around really cool businessmen? How are we going to set that up so that they can be successful?
The best way to do that, and it's a good word to use for men, is collisions. That we literally intentionally put collisions together of men that get to have a chance to be in each other's presence, and then gamify it with a workout, gamify it with a challenge, gamify it with a conversation to where it becomes an intriguing and engaging situation that they want to do. And it's interesting to bring up James Sprague. James Sprague last night has been mentoring a bunch of youth to train for the CrossFit Open. And I witnessed last night with another father of this opportunity that not only this is extending from men that are our age and our peers, but extends down to our boys that need to become men and need to have other mentors in their life besides me and you. And I was just like, it was like a pinch me moment when I watched my boy going through the CrossFit Open workout that all CrossFitters have to go through. And it was an insane workout. And he had his buddy who's an incredible uh, national star in lacrosse, and then my son, who's a great wrestler and multi-sport athlete, near tears, and he's pouring into them, and there's this darkest hour of this workout, and they're in deep water trying to figure out how to do and finish this workout, and I just said, this is what it's meant to be. And they grow so much, and they have such mentorship from this fittest man on earth, but then is such a good human. And the father that was next to me with that other lacrosse star, he says, that's why we're here. I was kind of worried because I was like, man, you're breaking my kid. He's like almost sobbing because his workout's so tough, and some parents don't handle that well. But the right people and the people with this mindset know how good that is for their kids. And we won't put kids to tears every time, but there's going to be opportunities that all of us have to pour into each other, find mentors in the group, be a mentor for people. We all have strengths, we all have weaknesses. We want to come together, share those strengths, get poured into into our weaknesses and grow together. And there's just not enough collisions in life that we're in work. We don't really talk much besides work. We go live with our kids in their lives, being a dad that just sits in a parking lot or on a wall waiting for them, and I wave maybe at another man, even someone I want to get to know. How does that end up happening? If it's not happening in church, it's not happening in my neighborhood, it's not happening on my front porch anymore, not happening in school environments anymore, where does it happen? Yet we need it so badly, and all the data shows with mental health and everything like that, and how men are just like left to figure it out. It's so badly needed, and so we believe Mode Men will be a solution for that.
Oh, and not only that, and you brought up a really important aspect of Mode Men is what we're doing for our sons and the young men who are following us. Because a father without friends, a father who's struggling, a father who has, we'll call them manly issues and struggles, is going to pass that on to his children because they're going to watch him and emulate that. I was in the gym watching your boy for a minute, and one of my favorite moments was Samson, your son, was dead and on the ground after this workout, and James brought them all around, and he had them all, give each other an ovation, which was so meaningful for these kids because not everyone's on the same level, but he made them all feel like they accomplished a ton by trying. And I just read a study the other day that showed that the number one most important impact on a young man that will prove whether or not they're going to be successful as men is whether or not, or excuse me, is how many positive male adult influences are in their life as a kid.
Yep.
And so part of Mode Men, we're going to have a ton of daddy-daughter events, but also father-son events. We want our sons to come be part of this in a way as well so that they can be around amazing men. There's nothing more powerful than bringing your son and have another really amazing, high-quality man tell your son the same thing you've been telling him for years, but for some reason they hear it differently, and it's really powerful.
Yeah, I was raised by I was raised in an area where we had huge families, and we all lived close together. And so my cousins and my uncles and grandfathers and just family was enough of that influence. Most people don't have that. They'll even move away from that home base, or they don't have a huge family. And where else do our boys have that? Again, if it's not done in church, it's not done in society, then these boys miss out on that opportunity. And specifically, we want to have Mode Men be an awesome place as well for people that are coming from out of town.
Yeah.
You move into this area, how do you connect?
Yeah,
How do you
especially as an
connect?
older guy, right? Like in your
Yeah.
40s, where do you meet
You go
friends?
to the bar, you go to the, you would,
Not anymore.
you go to the church, you go to the, where do you find meaningful relationships, and where do you go and connect into people that you can read the mission of what we're doing and say, I want to be not only that, I want to be around a whole bunch of men that want to be that, and that want to be a Mode Man. And so we're going to be very clear on our purpose. We're going to be very clear on what we're after, and none of us are perfect in that. We're going to put a poster of what a perfect man is and that we're all striving for. But just the fact that we're intentionally gathering together to strive for that is what will be the connective glue that that drives so many of these men to want to be a part of it. And we won't be for everyone, because some don't want. But it's going to be incredible to see the people that come out of the woodwork that are truly wanting this environment and this group to be a part of.
Yeah, one of my favorite conversations we had was, what do we want this to look like and what do we want this space to feel like? And the conversation was about, do we, do the normal guy thing in locker room talk and cussing and this and that, drinking and those type of things. And I love when you and I talked about making this a sacred space, a place where men will come, and while they're in these walls, while they're in this building, that if our sons could see us, they'd be proud of us, and that this will be a place set apart, so to speak, for us to really strive to be the best men we can be. Whatever you do on the weekend, whatever you do in your own time, great. But if you want a place where you're really, really surrounded by men wanting to improve and edify your life and lift you up, this will be it. And so with kids, we're gonna nail that down. We're gonna have an aspect of that. How are we gonna help men in their marriages? Because most men right now, even if you think your marriage is good, we all want to have stronger, better marriages.
Yeah, there's awesome people we're talking to that have great tips. Some people are more open about strength and weakness of the marriage than others. I don't think we need to have everyone, divulge all their deep dark secrets or
Yeah.
anything. But it's just going to be. I think a lot of these opportunities will be with your wife. That we can learn to grow together, and our wives can connect. There's an element of our better half that will be a very important part of this. But learning tips and tricks, learning the love languages, learning the things that as men we don't do well, right? We are a certain way. We're hunters and gatherers, and we're not emotional beings, and we have to survive in a family with kids and with a female that you got to get good at that. And I'm far from being the best at that. I have my own ways of doing it that aren't optimal, but yeah, I think that we're going to be very intentional about bringing some really incredible experts, and then having those people pour into us and share with us the best ways to be better men and be humble and be kind and but also be a man, and
Yeah.
it's a great book called The Warrior Poet, where you can be a poet and really be that softer side, that you can really be that person that can help a woman and be there for a woman. Dance, he asks, you got to be able to go to and dance with
Yeah.
your wife, but then also be a warrior. He says be the most dangerous man in the room, and when you got to be a protector, and women are attracted to that and they love that about men, but also too, we can't just be always a warrior mindset, and so it's that balance, and I think we'll also see some of the toughest guys we see out in society, they have a softer side, or we need to work on that, right? We need to work on that softer side, because all of us have in relationships that are meaningful in some way with females in our life, and so it's an important part of life we gotta figure out and get better at.
Yeah, and one of the things men stereotypically struggle with is planning the date night, right? As simple
Yeah.
as just getting a date night. And so once a month, we're going to have date nights that are planned for you. All you got to do is show up,
Mm.
bring your better half, bring your partner in crime, and enjoy whatever it is. We're in fact, some of these date nights that we're planning aren't just going to be sitting around eating. We're going to have professional painters come do painting classes, cooking classes, and it's going to be phenomenal. So one of the other things that men are going to want to come to this group for is the business side. They want to improve their networking opportunities. They want to learn how to be better businessmen and improve their bottom line, so to speak. We're super lucky to have you be part of this group. You've mastered that area. You've had tons of success in that area. And so tell us a little bit more about how Mode Men is going to help on the business side.
Bambi, cut me over to this. I'm gonna tell a quick story and then come back. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna talk quickly about on the date nights real quick.
Okay.
So on the date night, the other night I was in between. The other night my wife was in between taking my girl to ballet, and we just barely finished our ceramic studio. And I called her, and she was like, "I have an hour between ballet," and I'm like, "Honey, come over and try the ceramic studio." And we literally had 30 minutes together, and I haven't I haven't made a pot on a wheel for like 25 years. And me and my wife for 25, 30 minutes like did pottery together, and it was just a really cool connective time that we were just in there together, and it just gave the vision of like how much more cool things we're going to do, like you said, cooking classes, ceramics classes, connective, hot yoga together.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
do it all in this building, but again, all with intentional outcomes that we want to do and build together. Having great times with your wives, but also having great times with a like-minded community.
Yeah, other couples and things gathering together make it so much easier
Yeah.
than the pressure of I got to take my wife somewhere, I got to figure out what to do and all of that. And so we'll create an atmosphere that's really fun for men to gather, but also the women to make friendships. We're convinced that the people in Mode Men will eventually be vacation friends.
Yeah.
That they'll be hanging out all the time, that some of the best friends they'll make will be at some of these ceramics classes or date nights. And plus, how many men think to plan a ceramics class?
Yep.
Well, when we've got it in the building and we set it up, how cool is that?
Yep.
Make your love pot. Come make your pot of love.
And what's awesome, what you said is about like having deep relationships. It's not by accident. You look at where else are you having these conversations and these connective points. You're gonna have deep relationships because you'll know other people you'll have deep relationships in a very short time, because all the other relationships you've had for years have never gotten to these levels in a long time, let alone in the time we'll be doing it. And so people will leave very, very few activities or even one activity with with relationships that they thought, were even deeper than high school friends. Again, because we're going to build these intentional connections and collisions and drive people to just share a little bit more than they're used to and they're naturally going to, and it will have the outcome of deep, deep relationships.
Yeah, one of the best pieces of advice I ever got was 15 minutes of undivided attention for your wife and how meaningful that is for them. It doesn't even have to be a profound conversation, just spending that time together. Well, now you have that programmed in without having to think much about it, and yet you can come a whole night of undivided attention,
Yeah.
and you're going to be interacting with others, but we're going to laugh a lot. It's going to be great.
Cool. So back to your question is about the business.
Yeah, let me ask it to you again so it can flow. So we're very fortunate to have you as part of this group. You found some success in the business world, in your life, and you're building this amazing business. I mean, men can come and literally be mentored, so to speak, while you're currently building a business, which is a rare opportunity. So tell us, how else are the businessmen of this area going to benefit from Mode Men?
Well, we know networking is a massive, important part of all of our lives. And when we're trying to build a successful business, they always say, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah.
And that's really true, specifically with new people coming into the area that don't have the high school buddies or the people they've just known forever. They're looking for connections. And men with these mindsets usually are building some really cool things, and they want to share that. And they want to not only share that, but also give business to other people of that like mind. They want to support other people with that like mind, and they know with that like mind they're gonna have a great product with whatever they do. And so we're gonna have tons of networking opportunities. It'll happen in natural conversations. Hey, when we ask someone what do they do, what does that usually mean?
Right.
It's work.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate in some ways because it so defines us, right?
Yeah.
I'd like that to morph over time to where what we do at Mode. But when you ask them what do you do, you're going to talk about your business. You're going to mention that's kind of our tabletop conversation. We'll go deep pretty quickly after that. But yeah, people are very proud about what they do the majority of their life in their adult life and what they make, how they make a living. And it will be a natural thing for men in this group to want to support each other. And so we'll give opportunities to not only share that with each other, but swap war stories with each other, to put the best marketer in the entire group up in front of everyone and say, what struggles you having in marketing? Entrepreneurs go up to the group and say, hey, where are you guys at in your entrepreneurial journey? How can we help as other Mode Men? And that'll be incredible what will come out of that. People will benefit, by, you know, by leaps and bounds over anything that they invest into this program because of just simple deals, simple knowledge and experience and wisdom that they gain and garner from the people we bring and put in front of them, and just casual conversations or very intentional trainings or workshops or masterminds that we'll put together will all drive to incredible success and outcomes for the people involved.
Yeah, and some of the men we've already talked to about coming to this are some of the most successful businessmen in the area, which men would pay thousands of dollars to go learn from them, and they're going to be part of this brotherhood group that you get to have casual conversations with, which in my experience is the best kind of networking. Sometimes when it's set up, it's too rigid, where we're playing air hockey together and I'm asking you business advice. That's profoundly valuable, and so we're going to do mastermind courses. Luke will teach on entrepreneurship, and like you said, we'll have the marketing team teach things. I was in the hallway yesterday with a man, and he said, hey, I saw your face on that poster. Are you the Mode Men guy? And I said, yes, I am, with tons of pride. And he said, I am really considering coming and joining the group because I'm a salesman who's struggling in sales. And I said, dude, just between me and Luke, you've got two great salesmen already that you can network with, and we're going to be the last person you talk to because we're going to bring in the best salesman in the area.
Yeah.
And you're going to have so many people. I had this is how crazy this is already going, how quick it's spinning, and how wonderful it's going, is I had a headhunter company. What do you call those companies when they go out and find jobs for people? And
they're
do all that?
headhunters.
I had a headhunter reach out to me on Facebook and said, do you have men in your group who need these jobs, and listed jobs?
Yeah.
And I said, we're kicking off the 14th. I promise in a month I'll get you connected. So we could have men come who say either A, I need a job, or B, I'm sick of the job I'm at. Can you help? Yep, I've got a headhunter company that already wants to partner with our group to help place men. So the opportunities are are going to be endless. So last question as we wrap this up, just give us, let's just give an overall idea of the vision of what, when a man walks in here and in a year, 2 years, or 3 years, he reflects on his experience in this building, in this group. What do you think the highlights will be? What do you think they can look forward to?
It drives to the mission is, do they have a life that has more purpose built into it? Do they have more purposeful relationships? Do they feel like they're guiding their life in a path that has more purpose? Purpose is a very powerful word. It's used a lot, but that purpose is when you show up, do you feel like there's a reason why I'm here? And that can get spiritual, but it can also be very life centered of like, why am I here? What am I doing in life? Where am I going in life? And what is the things that I got to do right now to get there? Where am I at now? And what am I walking today in a direction that I want to go, or am I stagnant, or am I going the other direction? And it'll be a continual place where you can check yourself, be inspired by other men, and have intentionality. We can do a lot of the work for them just by being intentional, that when you show up to this activity, to this event, to this mastermind, and just show up every day to the spaces that we'll have available to them, that they will feel like we're helping them there and they are heading in that direction. There'll also be other things where they can lead. We're going to have purpose groups where what is their purpose? That their purpose is pottery, or is basketball, or is business. They can put together their own kind of, and be their own group that they can help mentor other men in that specific thing. So I hope that it leads people to have a ton of people. I hope this group can inspire people. This group will inspire men to be led by a ton of amazing people, but also give them an opportunity to lead, to celebrate other people's accomplishments, but also to be celebrated. That's the goal of the group, and I think that within a very short time, this is there's a lot of men, half the population are our market, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of men wanting this that aren't finding it, and they know deep in their core it's something that they're yearning for and wanting, and usually it's, if there is a men's group out there, it's packaged in a way that sometimes isn't for them, or that's not being done well, or with purpose and intentionality. And so we plan to do that, and we have a facility to do it, and a facility and model and vision to execute it incredibly well. And we think it's time.
It's definitely time. It's needed. So if there are men out here listening to this, we're here for you. You don't just, we talk about men needing support in their hard times. You brought up a really good point. Men need to be celebrated in their good times. Yeah. And our poor wives, right? They get all the complaints about work all day. They get all the successes. And so we just burden them with all of our stuff. Yeah. Well, now you have another outlet, a bunch of men who will support, lift that burden, help you, hear you, celebrate you. So come join us.
Did you talk about the feast?
The 14th? No.
Okay, let's do a little sound for Bambi to put on some stuff. So
okay, so we're excited about our kickoff. Tell them what we're doing on the 14th.
So our kickoff is March 14th. On Friday, we're going to get together. A lot of people don't know what a Jeffersonian dinner is, but literally it's a multi-course dinner, and the whole purpose of the dinner is not only get fed, but to have really cool conversations. So every course, you get put in these groups, and you're going to move tables, so you get to know a bunch of different guys, but you just get not deep, dark conversations that you're like, oh, I'm already uncomfortable, but more than just the weather, more than just the small talk. And you'll find that all of us know that we won't naturally have these conversations, but all of us in our heart of hearts know we want to.
Yes.
We want to have that, but it has to be fed. And so we're going to do that. We're going to have a lot of fun together. We're going to kick off and help you understand what our group is about. We're going to have some other people stand up and share what they're going to be, how they're going to be a part. And it's just going to be a night of fun. And we're going to introduce you to the space. It's Mode Men, what the space will look like. You'll be able to see it.
Tell them a little bit about HQ, because this is I can't tell you how excited I am for HQ.
So Mode Men HQ is going to be this killer space where you think it's a man cave, but for a lot of men. Man caves are cool, but it's for a few buddies and yourself, and they're kind of lonely spaces. We want this to be a man cave for all. And the first room has like 10 TVs in it. We're not going to sit and just watch streams together, but it will gather us together for March Madness or the Super Bowl or whatever. But again, the point of it is to gather us together for purpose, that we're going to have a lot of other conversations that are meaningful. We're going to have pool tables, ping pong, shuffleboard, And then these breakout rooms that if you ever want to, hey, a Bible study might come out of it, a just talking about a business opportunity or a networking opportunity. They'll have these breakout opportunities with these men that will naturally happen in the same space. So it's going to be a place of collision. It's going to be a place that we'll just lob out there, come for March Madness, and collisions will happen all over the place, and sidebar conversations and connections will happen, and we'll just get people get used to when you show up and come be a part of it. You don't small talk. You get into it, and you gain, and you attract great friends, and they're going to be ones that want this, and they're going to want to invest in it, and as well as give and receive from the group. And then if we walk out the hallway, holy crap! Like you walk down the hallway, you have plethora of amenities that we'll take advantage.
Yes.
We'll go downstairs and play guitars together. We'll go and have broga, which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
yoga for bros, and we'll go have and sweat together and see how much we groan and grunt around in the yoga studio. We'll go have workouts. We'll go and do jujitsu together in our mat room. We'll go and work out with James Sprague together and see how he can kick our butts and make us cry like he. And so,
Like our sons, we're
yeah,
building a barber shop. We're building a
barbershop.
sauna and cold plunge room.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Cooking classes we'll have,
yeah,
and this is
cafe.
all in four walls, right? And so the HQ will be the hub of it. We'll collect there. We'll have collisions there, but across the whole building will just be a plethora of opportunities that will just be endless fun. And we'll leave the premises too. We don't have it all here, but we have a lot. We have a lot to start with, and we'll go cool places as well. But yeah, we'll have a lot to kick off with, and then the next week on March 21st, we will have a Fathers and Sons event where, just like a Fathers and Sons event where James Sprague, fittest man on earth, he won the CrossFit Games last year, has an amazing story, and his father will be there to talk about the story of how both of them were struggling in life and that they found CrossFit. And together they went on this father-son journey that brought them both into amazing life. And James went from being a depressed and kind of overweight 12-year-old that was struggling through, normal 12-year-old stuff to the fittest man on earth in a few short years. And CrossFit was that mechanism. But then the relationship
Yes.
that was galvanized between him and his dad. It's just going to be an awesome night where he speaks. We're going to get together and just be inspired by two amazing humans in that type of scenario where they're just going to speak to us and pour into us. So that's on the 21st of March. Don't miss that Father and Son night. Bring your sons and come together. So 2 back to back, and then we get going. These aren't people just think they're only going to be Friday night things. This is going to be daily, weekly, monthly events that we'll have consistently. We're going to share with you what our schedule's at these events, and you guys will have a whole host of opportunities to come and be a part of the Mode Men group.
Yeah, and I want to just add and say to the women, if any women ever hear this, why would you want your husband to come to this? We're committing to helping your husband be the best husband he can be. We're committing to helping him be the best father he can be, the best provider and protector, or whatever role in your family has been laid out, we're going to help him improve. And so if you're a wife or a girlfriend or a partner and you're listening to this, you should encourage him to come, because he's going to be surrounded by amazing men. No longer the college bros or his high school buddies that get out and drink and do dumb stuff. This will be a lifting group, a group that elevates. So let's ask a couple commonly asked questions real quick. Are we religiously affiliated?
We're not religiously affiliated at all. A lot of the men that are going to come to this group have a deep faith and a deep belief in God. We want that to be celebrated in ways that is totally optional. I talked about purpose groups. We believe that there will be absolutely opportunities for men to collaborate together about things that are deeply spiritual to them, whether it's spiritual just generally or a Bible study, right? We want that to be totally available to be. We want that to be an outcome that they can explore and bring other men around the table that don't go to the same church, but they're interested in what they believe, and they come together and grow together. So there'll be opportunities. Again, it'll be very clear in the schedule. Hey, go. You want to be part of this purpose group? It's a Bible study. You want to be part of this purpose group? They're getting into it and starting to be a little philosophical and theological, right? They're getting into some of the mysteries of God, and they're getting into some arguments and some discussions and debates, right? So we want to really be specific. But then it could be also a camping and a bike. We already have a mountain biking
Yep.
enthusiast that's going to put together a group for that. And so you're gonna be able to find people that are very much like-minded in you. And if you want to go in some territory that you're like, I don't know anything about this category, but there's a whole room of men that do love this topic, and I want to go learn from them. From spiritual to adventure to marriage to friendship and everywhere in between to sports, we're going to have tons of groups created that will have these enthusiasts that want to share more or learn more about that specific topic. So that's how we're going to treat spiritual topics or religious topics, is very much in a way that's very disclosed, and you want to be a part of it, go be a part of it. But as far as the men's group in and of itself, we want to just be better men.
Yeah.
A lot of those topics are taught in religion, but they don't have to be religious. We want to be better fathers, better husbands. All those things are moral ethics and morals and ethics and values that are taught all over the place, but in and outside of religion, that I think as society we should all be able to agree with.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. One of the other questions we get from people is, what kind of man am I going to be sitting in the corner? Because these are all amazing men, and I'm not that amazing. Will I fit into the group? And we want all men to come. We are going to describe what a mode man is, and we hope that those men will become that. But what would you say to a man who's like, I'm not going to fit in because, are these all multimillionaire studs and I'm not? What would you say to that guy?
We want everyone to come, and we want everyone to come with that idea that you're coming to a mission of what we're trying to become as men. If you're going to hang on to that locker room talk and that I want at any moment any of our children or any youth, young man to come in the room and it to be totally a comfortable situation that we would feel very honored to have them there. So if you're willing to do that, so we'll take you with all your foibles and wherever you're at in life. We want to pour into you and show you how we could help with mentors around the group. And we want there to be men from anywhere from 20 years old all the way through. And, all the way to 60, 70, 80, 90 years old. I love that. I love that group of people because they have the most wisdom.
Yeah.
They're sitting in our society does such a horrible thing that the men and women that have the most wisdom in life are sitting in an old folks home somewhere, or we almost send them out to pasture and say, at the pinnacle of your achievements and what and your knowledge, we don't almost need you to talk to us anymore. We're just survive, just live. And I want to bring them back into conversations where you've been married for 50 years. What are the things that made you successful? You've had a business that you've gone through the entire thing from being 20 years old to being in a career for 45, 50 years old or 50 years. Tell us about it. Yeah. Where are we at right now in our midlife crisis, or starting a business, or starting when we're 20, that we could learn from that? So the gamut of age, the gamut of experiences, the gamut of personalities, all falling though within our mission and striving to be better men. That's what I'll say will be a delineator. Is if you're not wanting to do that, if you're wanting to just come and just have a bunch of small-minded
this isn't your drinking party. This isn't like you're hanging out. This is
guys that want to have fun.
We'll laugh a ton.
We'll have a lot of fun. So if you think that that's the only way to have fun, we'll prove that wrong.
Yeah.
But we definitely want to have come one, come all as you join, and it's very clear what our mission is, that you're willing to be a part of that.
So fair to say that if you're wanting to improve your life and you're ready to put in the work, you're welcome here.
Absolutely.
I think one of the plagues of stereotypical men is we lack validation sometimes. We lack self-esteem. We have that imposter syndrome. Sometimes we don't feel like we fit in the room. And so let us come prove you wrong. If you feel that way, give us a chance. Come join us. Let us lift your spirits. Let us lift your capabilities. We'll work together and men who are listening to this, it's we're not just saying what you're going to get. We hope all men will give. In fact, the other end of that spectrum You got the guys who might not think they fit in and they don't belong. We're going to boost their confidence. What are you going to do to a guy? What would you say to the guy who is the super successful? He's fit. He's got a good marriage, and he's like, well, what am I going to get out of this?
Right.
We've talked about this so much. What are we telling that guy?
Well, again, everyone, if you feel like you're going to get everything because you don't have a lot to give, there's a place for you. If you feel like like you have so much to give and you don't know if you'll find any peers here, there's a place for you. We want you to give, but there's going to be some amazing people in this space. We're going to have some opportunities for people that have done incredible things to be collected, or to people that have done incredible things to be put into groups and environments where they'll be with their peers, where they can just feel very, very comfortable to talk about things that most people wouldn't think that they're struggling with or they're needing help with.
Their $50,000 issue at work.
Yep.
There's a group for that too.
Yep. And so we'll put that group together and help them, but then also too give them really amazing opportunities to say and teach. Give you amazing opportunities to tell men younger than them and that are in similar situations that they were in, what I wish I would have known when I was younger, what I wish I would have known in that situation. And that's truly at the core of someone that is humble and grateful for their walk in their life, that wants to give back at the times that they remember where they struggled most and where they had someone there to help them and they didn't get it at that time and they had to learn it later in a tougher way. Or they're so grateful for that person that poured into them at that integral time. And I want to be that for somebody else because somebody did that to me, and I'm so grateful. We're going to give them tons of opportunities that way. But again, we'll have a lot of opportunities for them to bring other people like them at their level to be their peers and to teach them a lot in different avenues of life, different other categories of business or of sport or of other strengths that amazing humans have. And like I said, James Sprague is 22 years old. He's not your peer for a 50-year-old CEO, but guess what? He'll run circles around you in the gym.
You'll find a way to connect.
Ways, you'll learn from him, even though he's 22, wet behind the ears in life,
And the beauty of that is he'll ask the business questions.
Exactly.
And that CEO can now mentor this up-and-comer.
And on the flip
and
side.
on the flip, yeah.
So don't judge the package of age or what you think. And you'll find, one thing I'm excited about is you find these deep connections with people over and over and over again. People are going to be blown away that I never knew that about you.
Yep.
I never knew. And in fact, whether you're 22 or 52 or 82, everyone can learn from each other.
Yep.
There's when you find out people's walks in life, you're like, oh my gosh, I couldn't even imagine what you're going through on a daily basis. And I respect you and I learn from you because now I know who you are and what you're about. And that's going to be happening all the time because we'll take people into those deep relationship conversations and establish those relationships with these from man to man. That there'll be a ton of empathy and a ton of just being amazed by each other because we get into really understanding each other to their core.
Yeah, I want to give an example. Luke and I spent the last couple of days with some amazing men, and one of the men that was with us is the CEO or president owner of one of the largest steel companies in the Western United States. Phenomenal man. He's a CrossFitter his whole life. Just looked like a model, didn't he? He just is this great man, and he sat next to me at dinner and said, "Hey, I want to send my leadership team to your men's group to be mentored." And as we got into it, man, he's in the season of service. He's been successful in life. He actually built a CrossFit gym for the community to be a little less expensive, a little less available for the community members as one way to give back. But he's got these workers, these team members of his who are really good at working, but they're struggling in other areas of his life, or they want to improve certain things. And so he's actually going to be one of our first corporate members to provide a space for all of his workers.
Remotely.
Remotely to come and be influenced so they can be better. And so whether you've crushed it in life, so to speak, we all have issues, or you're just getting started, okay, we'll call it that. Whatever stage of life, come, let us help you see how you can improve. And if you do have a company that's killing it. We have a space for your employees as well as a space for you. We're going to do retreats. We're going to do things outside. Like you said, we'll have lake days and bonfire days. We're doing a junior warrior program where we're going to have all your sons out in some fields and roughing them up a little bit in a good way. We're going to do daddy-daughter nights and even a mother-son night sponsored by Mode Men. So this is going to be a place for everyone, and we hope you'll join us.
Come join Mode Men.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Bambi, that work?
Perfect. I'm going to stop right now.